this is what happened. One thing that I've learned and I've learned many things, but one thing I've learned is you don't need to have a pose in life. You have just to go get down on your bum if you need to get down on your bum, and you have to get and do what you have to do. And if you need to go to the toilets and the ladies are queuing up and the men's are empty, then you go to the men's. That's how life turns out to be. What a privilege. I always say that when I'm here, and I said to her now, I don't know whether I will be able to be here. Maybe it was my last time. And every time I say that, but God's so good to me. Every time I get another time, and I'm back here. And that is such a privilege. And I've got so many things to share with you that I don't think we've got enough time. And I also don't know whether I've got enough breath, but I'm going to try my best. I think many of you, and it always happens to be like that, if you see somebody in a situation that where I am, and you don't know what the story is, you just kind of think, what is wrong? And for that reason, I'm going to tell you what's wrong, then that's out of the way. But that's not what I want to focus on. I want to focus on the future, more on where I am and why I am here. I was diagnosed with Motor Neuron Disease in October last year. The scientific name is ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. And it's a very bad disease. When I was, it took about 3 months of tests, up and down, blood tests and lumbar punctures and 5 brain scans. I remember the day that I went, the 9th of October, I went for a brain scan again. And I had an appointment with a neurologist on the morning at 10 o'clock. And when I got there, he came out and said, I want you to go back straight away for another brain scan. So off I went again. And my husband, we've been married for more than 30 years. Dank die Here daarvoor, want ek die wonderlikste. But unfortunately, he works in Afghanistan. So 3 months out there and 3 weeks back home. So he knew I was ill, but he didn't know how bad it was at the time. So my mother is my carer, and she always went with me. And that particular morning, when I came back for that 5th brain scan, the neurologist came out and he said, I want to see you alone. And then I knew. Because normally my mother would come in with me, and she was up to date exactly what the situation was. So I thought, now what can it be? So the first thing he says is, don't worry, you don't have a brain tumor. I thought, well, okay, then it can't be that bad. He says, but unfortunately I have to tell you, it's much easier for me to tell somebody that they've got a brain tumor than to tell them that you've got motor neuron disease. And I didn't realize exactly what it was and what it meant. And he said, what's going to happen to you is, by that time I could hardly walk anymore. He says, by the end of the year you most probably going to be in a wheelchair. And from there onwards it will go worse and worse. Because the nerve system, the nerves that carry the message from the brain to the spinal cord, and from the spinal cord to the muscle, degenerates and it dies off. And eventually when it has died off, obviously the muscle can't move. And together with that, you've got the lower motor neuron dysfunction as well as the upper motor neuron dysfunction, which means that the muscle wastes as well. So the muscle actually melts away. And slowly but surely, all your moving muscles will disappear. And all that you would be able to use is your eyes. So it's only the eyes that can move. So it's a fatal disease. And the time that they've given you was 18 months. 6 of that is gone. And that sounds terrible. And it is terrible. But I've learned so many things, and that's what I want to tell you, is what I have learned over these few months, and where I am going to. And the first thing that came to my mind was, and I always told my son, we've got 3 children, Harold and I, and our son is the youngest, he's 24 now. And typically like a boy, he always was into trouble and into mischief and what have you. En I always just said, boetjie, my skat, jy moet net onthou die lewe se welke keuses. En jy moet net die regte keuses maak. Elke keuse het 'n gevolg. En as jou gevolge vir jou gaan moeilikheid gee, dan sê jy dit moet deurleef. Maar onthou net die lewe se welke keuses. And that's what came to my mind is, you have choices. And the first thing I thought is, but I don't have a choice. I'm not asked for this, and I can't do anything. There's nothing that the doctors can do for me. There's no cure for this disease. I don't have a choice. And then it came into my spirit that you do. You always have choices. And my choice was, I choose to live. I haven't chosen to die. If I'm going to die, that is out of my hands. And the only one that can decide about that is God himself. It's not for the doctors to decide that. It's not for the symptoms or the diagnosis to decide for that. God is the final one to decide whether I will die in a few months' time or whether I will not. But you know what? If I do, I'm ready for it. And that's one of the questions you should ask yourself. Look what we have seen this morning with poor Magda. One of those quick flitzes photographs that came onto the screen. I was standing next to Magda. And who didn't know? At that time, I didn't know I was ill, and nobody would have guessed that Magda would not have been here with us today. Would I have chosen her way of going opposed to my own? No. I am quite content with the position that I find myself in. I want to share with you a few of the lessons that I've learned. The first question is, and I must tell you this, it was all in my mind, at the back of my mind, what am I going to share with you about? Because Runel said, please tell the people about yourself, because this is all about challenging real estate agents mentally today. So I hope that my story is going to challenge you mentally today and that you can see the positive and not the negative. So we leave the negative behind. But the question is, who am I? And last night, I said to Gerard, I made a few little notes. And I still need to do a little bit of a presentation, but I never got around to do that. I was just too busy. And Gerard said, leave it to me. You see, ons is nou so lang getrouwd dat ons minds werk ons net so saam, so dit werk net so wonderlik. So whilst I was in bed and I popped my pill and I was honest, he built the slideshow. And when we were in the car this morning, I only had a look at my slideshow and I said, my Scott is perfect. So here we go. This first thing is I'm almost 30 years in real estate. And the first thing is I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm an Oma to be. Middle of October, we're going to have our first grandchild. Isn't that stunning? God never takes unless he gives back. I'm a daughter. I've got the most stunning parents. I'm a sister. And you know what? A year ago, if I was going to say this line would have been most probably not even on the screen. I would have told you that I'm an agent. I'm a principal. I've served on professional bodies. Pam, I've been an estate agent, member of the Institute for more than 25 years. And I never stopped. Because the Institute is where we need to the novice estate agents. I'm a trainer. I'm a trainer by heart. My whole passion is to be a trainer. I'm the MD of Details of the Western Cape. But first and foremost, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm an Oma to be, and I'm a daughter, and I'm a sister. I hope that you can see the message behind this, that we can't just go for the bigger things in life, the simplest things in life is what is really caring. That line I put in, my husband didn't put that in. That was me.